The Galactic Alliance had never encountered a species quite like humans. Most sentient races reacted to combat with grave solemnity, ritualized behavior, or at the very least, grim determination. The humans, however, did something entirely different. They laughed. Captain Trill of the Oronian Expeditionary Force watched the surveillance footage for the fifth time, mandibles clicking in confusion. The human outpost on Centaur 4 had been under siege for 3 days. Supply lines cut, communications jammed, and surrounded by Haxoid attackers. Yet the humans inside were joking. "I need to understand this phenomenon," Trill announced to his science officer, Mech. Mech, whose blue-gray exoskeleton rippled with uncertainty, replayed the audio. The sounds of explosive fire and energy weapons created a cacophonous backdrop to the unmistakable sound of human laughter. "It defies evolutionary logic," Mech said. "Laughter typically indicates a non-threatening environment. It makes no sense to display such behavior when survival is threatened." The Alliance had only recently welcomed humans into their fold. Earth had proven itself technologically capable, if socially perplexing. This new observation only deepened the mystery surrounding humanity. Inside the besieged outpost, Lieutenant Jack wiped tears of laughter from his eyes as Private Tom finished his impression of the Haxoid commander's ultimatum. "Surrender now, and we promise a swift." Tom puffed out his chest and wobbled his head in exaggerated mimicry and somewhat painless execution. The 5-person human crew howled with laughter as another explosion rocked their bunker. Dust sprinkled down from the ceiling. "Oh man, these guys have no idea who they're dealing with," said Maria, the communications specialist, while reloading her rifle. "Did you see their faces when I hacked their comms and played that ancient cat video on all their screens?" Lieutenant Jack nodded, his expression becoming momentarily serious. "Status report, people. How are we holding up?" Engineer Pete looked up from the power terminal he was rewiring. "Defense shields at 42%. I've rerouted auxiliary power from non-essential systems. Should buy us another 6 hours." "Ammunition?" Jack asked. "Standard rounds low, but we've got plenty of improvised explosives," answered Kat, their weapons expert. "I modified some mining charges. They'll do the trick." "Good. The Alliance fleet should arrive within 8 hours. We just need to hold out until then." Another blast shook the outpost, stronger than the last. A support being groaned ominously. "Anyone want to bet how many Haxoids run away screaming when reinforcements arrive?" Tom asked, grinning. 5 credits says at least half their force," Maria countered. "You're on." Outside the human outpost, Commander Vax of the Haxoid Dominion was growing increasingly frustrated. His forces outnumbered the humans 20-1. Their outpost was sustaining damage. By all logic, the humans should have surrendered by now. "Sir," his lieutenant reported, "we've intercepted some of their internal communications." "Let me hear," Vax demanded. The lieutenant activated a holographic display. The sounds of human voices filled the command center. They were sharing anecdotes, making wagers. One was even singing something called a show tune while firing a heavy weapon. "Is this accurate?" Vax demanded. "Yes, Commander. We've verified the translation matrix multiple times." Vax paced, his clawed feet clicking against the metal floor. "It's a psychological tactic. It must be. They're trying to unnerve us." It was working. His troops were becoming unsettled. Reports circulated of humans charging Haxoid positions while shouting jokes. One human had thrown an explosive and yelled "hot potato" before ducking away, cackling. "Commander," another officer interrupted. "Alliance vessels have been detected approaching the system." Vax felt a chill run through his body. He'd hoped to claim this outpost before reinforcements arrived. Now he'd have to face not just these unnerving humans, but an entire fleet. "Prepare for retreat," he ordered, his pride stinging. The Alliance fleet arrived to find the Haxoid forces already retreating. Admiral Orcs, an imposing figure of the Phylaxian species, personally led the rescue team to the human outpost. What they'd found inside was not what they expected. Rather than exhausted, traumatized survivors, they discovered 5 humans engaged in some sort of competitive game involving small paper cards. They appeared dirty, somewhat injured, but in remarkably high spirits. "Welcome to the party. Jack greeted them, standing to salute. "You're just in time for dinner. We've got emergency rations that taste almost like real food if you squint hard enough." Admiral Orcs studied the humans with fascination. "You were outnumbered, outgunned, and cut off from assistance. How did you maintain such resilience?" The humans exchanged glances. "Humor is a shield," Maria explained. "When things get really bad, sometimes laughter is the only weapon you have left." "But doesn't it diminish your combat readiness?" asked one of the Phylaxian officers. Jack shook his head. "Quite the opposite. It keeps us sharp, keeps us human. Fear freezes you up. Laughter keeps you moving." Later, aboard the Alliance flagship, Admiral Lorx reviewed the full report with Captain Trill. "We've encountered over 300 sentient species," Lorx mused, "and none respond to mortal danger with humor." "It's not just humor," Trill added. "It's camaraderie. They bond through the shared response to danger." "The Galactic Council will want a full psychological profile," Lorx said. "This trait may explain how humans advanced so quickly despite their planetary conflicts. Most species that war among themselves eventually self-destruct. Humans turn terror into strength," Trill observed. "They laugh in the face of death. And the enemy retreats in confusion," Lorx concluded. The Alliance classification of humans was updated that day. Previously labeled as Emerging Sentience, Category 3, they were now designated as Resilient Adaptives, Category 1, with a special notation. Exercise caution when opposing. Capacity for psychological warfare exceeds physical capabilities. Across the galaxy, the story spread of the 5 humans who laughed their way through a siege and sent an enemy force running. It would not be the last time aliens would be shocked by humans laughing under fire, but it was perhaps the most legendary. For, as Earth's ancient warriors had long known, sometimes the most disarming weapon is a smile in the face of fear.